Hey guys, this is Ayushmann Khurrana, the star of Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan. I had an amazing time discussing my craft, my film choices, my journey, and the evolution of Indian cinema with the CEO of Hollywood Insider, Pritan Ambroase. Please listen to the show and watch the show and subscribe to Hollywood Insider.
This is your host, Pritan Ambroase. Today's episode is regarding a fantastic actor and superstar that many in America might not have heard of. If Parasite's Oscar victory has taught us one thing, then it is that it's high time for foreign films to become the norm in USA and all over the world. In the words of Oscar winner Bong Joon, once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films. There is one word for me to add to that, and that word is treasures. Films are truly treasures. The transformative power of cinema deserves credit. Here at Hollywood Insider, we truly believe in the power of cinema in all languages and from all over the world. Hollywood Insider is a global brand with undivided attention on local stories from their very own perspective. We cater to both the masses as well as individuals and small communities alike. The world of entertainment and media is prevalent in most countries. We want to include them all. Global stories from its own local perspective. In this episode, we will be talking past that 1-inch subtitle barrier to an actor and superstar who has been transforming cinema, Bollywood, and its audiences. And that is Ayushmann Khurrana. He has truly broken the mold and is changing Bollywood for the better. While most Bollywood films focus on larger-than-life characters, stories, and beautiful foreign locales to provide their audiences with escapism, Ayushmann has done the opposite and still provided escapism. He has brought small community stories to the larger audience in America and abroad. He has found the extraordinary within the ordinary. While most Bollywood movies have a trend of shooting in foreign locations and going big, his films and stories are within the country and its communities, within the alleyways of Indian cities, and yet they have gone big. Hence, striking gold across all audiences in India and abroad. Most leading men in Bollywood go for macho, hyper-masculine roles and come fully packaged with extra muscles and extra six-pack abs. Instead, Ayushmann has focused on leading roles that comes with depth and character. The strength in Ayushmann's characters and the emotive power is something that most of those ultra-masculine, muscular bodybuilders could only hope to achieve. He is the opposite of toxic masculinity. Ayushmann's talents as an actor is as diverse as the characters he plays and the plot lines of his movies. Looking through his filmography, the first word that comes to mind is diverse. He has played a sperm donor, blind pianist in the middle of a crime investigation, a man suffering from erectile dysfunction, a police officer fighting against sexual harassment, a man dealing with premature balding, and most recently, as a gay man who will marry the man he loves at all costs, effectively making him the first Bollywood A-list leading man, superstar, playing a gay man in a mainstream film. Most of his films are on subjects that deal with social issues and breaking them for the better of their community. In fact, critics and fans alike have now dubbed him Content Khurrana for the excellent and original stories of his films. Myself and Hollywood Insider would like to dub him Diverse Khurrana. He is an actor, singer, TV host, poet, etc., etc., etc. Without further ado, let me introduce and welcome the path-breaking actor superstar Ayushmann Khurrana.
Thank you so much, Pritan Ambroase, for such a beautiful introduction. I'm very overwhelmed, and I don't know what to say. Like this is beautiful, and it just validates my efforts that I've made in past 7 to 8 years as as an odd leading man in Indian cinema, and I'm glad that it has reached, it has transcended boundaries and borders, and it's very overwhelming. Thank you.
Of course, and again, um, Ayushmann, I'm actually quite shocked that it's only been 7 years that you've been in the industry. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wow, that's remarkable. And did you always, so tell me, did you always, because your career has been so diverse, so diverse, and it's almost like a tailor made, customized path journey for an actor. Was that always planned, or is that something that happened along the way?
I missed one. I think this one line in the end. Can you just repeat that again?
Apologies.
Yeah.
I should let the listeners know that this is being recorded over the phone, so there might be certain disturbances.
Uh-huh.
Was the career that you have now of this entirely diverse, customized filmography, was that always planned, or did it happen by itself?
It was a mix of both. Though I started journalism. I studied journalism in university, print journalism, and did a lot of theater in college, in school, and in university. But I started my journey as a reality show contestant during my college days. And later I became a radio presenter and then a TV show host. I was a TV anchor with MTV India. And there was this time where I used to interview a lot of actors, a lot of celebrities, directors, and there was a point of time I used to review films as well. I was probably one of the youngest reviewers around. So, I always wanted to be an actor to begin with, but at the same time, there was no desperation to just jump into it. I had seen a lot of actors doing well initially and then not making good choices. Uh, I always knew that I will make into Bollywood, uh, in Indian cinema, if I tread the unconventional path. And I remember declining at least 6 films as a leading man before venturing into Indian cinema. Because if you are not from a film background, if you're not from the family of like good directors or actors, then you may not get the second chance. So I always knew the first chance um, had to be bullseye or like a slam dunk, as you say, as far as content is concerned. So I chose a film of a sperm donor, and it started from there. And I always knew that it has to be unconventional. It has to be something which is novel with the content, which will drive me forward.
I believe the name of that movie is Vicky Donor, where you
That's
played
right.
a sperm donor. I've actually personally watched it. I watched it
Okay.
yesterday, and I was quite impressed with how you carried it out. The angst of being a sperm donor within the community of India, the
Hmm.
backlash, everything was well portrayed. And so I love the fact that you went from being a TV host to having an education in journalism to jumping into movies, but making sure it was the right role. Now,
Hmm.
your let's talk about your most recent movie. How did you come? I might butcher the name of the movie, by the way, so forgive me for that. How did you come to this role as a gay man and being the first Bollywood hero as a gay man in Shub Mangal Zyada Savdan?
Just a minute. Tanya, is your phone on mute? I can hear a lot of voices in the background.
Right, I can
Is
as
it from
well.
your side? Britain, is
Mine's
your from your
completely
side or
quiet. I'm
Tanya's
inside
side?
my personal studio.
Even I'm inside my room.
Right.
Yeah, now
Now,
it's
much
mute.
better, much better. Okay, let me
Yeah,
repeat that. So,
yeah.
Ayushman, you're a Bollywood hero. And like I mentioned in my intro, Bollywood heroes are all about macho, all about masculinity, all about extreme hyper masculinity. And you being a A-list actor, having to taken this role as a gay leading man in Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdan. How did
Yeah.
you come to this role? How did you come to this role
Uh,
and this movie?
Hello, Pritan, can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can. My question was,
Yeah,
how did
your
you?
voice is break. Your voice is breaking, but I got the gist of your question.
Okay, all right. So, how did
Yeah.
you come to this role?
So the thing is, I have had my own journey with acceptance of, um, you know, alternate sexuality, and hello, can you hear me, Pritan?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Because I can't.
I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah. So I've had my own journey in life. I come from a small city which was very conservative. I'm talking like 15 years back when I was in college. There was a time when I was borderline homophobe. I'm from an all-boys school and all-boys college, and there was this um, gay club in our college, and they had invited me as a guest of honor. I was very active in theater and music, and they were like, "We find you very cute. Why don't you just come as a guest of honor and just sing some songs for us?" And I was really scared. I didn't know what to say. I was like, I can't do this. So that was the time when I was in Chandigarh. That's a small city in India, in northern part of India, and that was a time when it was just a nascent stage of my introduction to homosexuality. Then I shifted to Delhi, the New Delhi, the capital of India, and started doing a radio show, met new people, and traveled with my theater group across the nation, met new people, evolved as a person, and then went to Mumbai to be an actor, became a VJ with MTV India. So it was a very steady transition from being a borderline homophobe to somebody who is now like a flag bearer of uh, LGBTQ community in Bollywood. So I have had my own journey. I always believed that we needed a commercial mainstream Indian cinema film to deal with homosexuality, so that we can reach out to maximum number of people, like to the layman, to BNC centers, like we say, not the main cities, but the smaller cities in India where homophobia is rampant, where people are averse to homosexuality. So this could only be done by a commercial Hindi film and a mainstream actor. So this was my aspiration.
Right.
I'm glad it was accepted.
Right.
Yeah.
Were there any worries? Did you? I mean, I'm sure, even though you were so confident in this movie and that you wanted to play this character, was there any ever worry about being the first actor to play such a role?
No, there was never a worry. In fact, I've built up my career in the past 7 years by taking the untreaded territory, by doing roles which were probably rejected by others, or maybe they didn't have um, the courage to take the risk of doing a certain role or a certain genre in films. So I was pretty much confident that I should be the first one to do this. It will be a genre breaker for for a formulaic Hindi film.
Right. Right, right. What about your industry colleagues, right? Of course, you have friends in the industry, you have advisors in the film industry in Bollywood. What did your peers, your advisors tell you about taking on such a role?
Um, I have two mentors in the industry. One is Shujit Sarkar. He is the director of Vicky Donor, and Aditya Chopra, who is the head of Yashraj Films. They manage my work, and they both they believe in alternate thinking. Especially Shujit Sarkar, who always tells me to do something different and novel, and take up challenges. So they were very gung ho about it. They were really excited that I'm playing a homosexual. So I'm around surrounded by people who are very progressive, and who believe in the fact that I should be a risk taker to push the envelope in Indian cinema.
Right. And I think you mentioned two names. One is Sujit Sarkar, and the second one was?
Yes, Aditya Chopra.
Okay. And so, I personally have heard the quote that you are the company that you keep. So would you say that it is the
Yeah.
company that you keep that has transformed you as an actor and as a person?
I believe that you should have people of all kinds around you so that you are close to the reality and should not live in the bubble of the intelligentsia. I
Right.
think you should be surrounded with people of every kind because you are catering to every kind of people. The
Right.
audience is diverse. So
Right.
there should be diversity in the company as well that you keep. So that's what I do generally. It's not just the actors or the artists I'm surrounded with. I'm surrounded with technicians, advocates, lawyers, doctors. I have people from every walks of life. So I think that makes me
Right.
more diverse as an artist.
Right. I really hope there are other people in your industry and in India that that think of things in the same way. In regards to I know you're married to uh, Tahira, and you have two kids with her. What was her
Yeah.
reaction like when you took on the movie?
She was also really excited. In fact, uh, she's the one who reads all my scripts along with my manager Sunita D'Souza. So these are the two ladies that I have in my life who also help me out to select scripts, and I take their feedback really seriously. So she was really excited.
Wow, good, good, good. What were your parents' reaction?
Even they were excited. You know, India has come a long way. I have had a very good upbringing, and they're also very progressive in nature. Even my family has come a long way. They were also like borderline homophobes when I was young, when I was in college, in school. But they have also evolved with the changing times. They have become more accepting towards homosexuality, which is great. And now they found the film really, really entertaining and also message driven.
Right. Good. See, what I like about the conversation you've had so far is that there is a transformation. You're not sitting here saying that I've always been woke, right? I've always been super civilized.
Yeah,
You're saying I used to be a homophobe, then I had my journey, and now
yeah,
I am a flag bearer for
yeah.
the LGBTQ rights issues. And that's what I love. And I
That's
also
right.
love that about your
That's right.
parents, the journey that you've come on. Because
Hmm.
currently in Hollywood, there seems to be a cancel culture, right? A person makes one mistake and they are fully canceled for good. And I personally am completely against that. I believe that people should be given a space to grow like you have and like your
Yeah,
parents have.
absolutely. Yeah, 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 yeah. I completely agree with that. You know, I think there's tremendous human potential in everybody.
Right.
I believe that if somebody, the target audience of my last film was a quintessential Indian homophobe.
Right.
If we reach out to those people and transform them, that'll be the biggest victory of this film. And that has happened with this film. So, since I have gone through this transformation over the years, and I expect that uh, each and every homophobe has that human potential of transformation, and that's what we are. That's what makes us human. I think that we have tremendous potential to evolve, and that's what life is.
Right. It's like you're saying that with your film, you're not just trying to get to the people that agree with you, but rather the people that disagree with you. Am I correct?
E- Exactly. Otherwise, you will be making films for the festivals, not uh, for the masses. This was specifically made for the masses because it is the masses. They are the ones who are mostly homophobia, suffering from homophobia,
Right.
and they are the ones who should throng to the theaters and watch the film and see that
Right.
transition in
I know
themselves.
that India was decriminalized homosexuality in 2018, which is less than a
Yeah,
year and a half ago. And so,
yeah.
how has the film been received by audiences? Has it fully exceeded your expectations?
It's been received pretty well. It's not like 100 crore film like my earlier films because of the subject. Of course, there were a lot of uh, uh, there's a certain section of audience which was averse to watching the film with the family, because they were like, they thought the kids were in that age, they get influenced, and I don't know, their logic was a little warped. But that's what we faced in this film, that it didn't score like the 100 crores, that benchmark I'd set with my previous films, because of the subject. There was some uh, aversion from the masses. That's why it scored pretty well. It's still a hit, but it's not a blockbuster.
Okay, good, good, good. Now, in regards, just
Yeah,
like you've said, right? You've said that certain family members might not be comfortable with this movie, but I
yeah,
almost felt like
yeah,
this movie was not really talking to youngsters, but rather to every
yeah,
generation. For instance, the regular theme in Bollywood movies happened to be romance and how their respective families react to their love story, almost like a Romeo
mm,
and Juliet theme, like a Montague and Capulets, as the practice of joint family
yeah,
is so common in India. What I loved about this movie
yeah,
is the parents and families and how they transform their perspectives and reactions due to the love they have for their son, and also his love for his boyfriend. It's almost like this movie brought together multiple generations together in acceptance. The grandparents' reaction, the parents' generation, the children's generation, and also the grandchildren's generation. Am I right in saying that?
you're absolutely right. It is the perspective of a conservative, conventional Indian family. It is basically the transformation of uh, the boomer generation, as you say, in this film. It is not just about the love story of two men, but it is about the reaction of the family members and how they change over time and accept this gay couple in their lives. So that's why it's meant to be like that. It was, maybe this is the first step as a homosexual film, but in years to come, there will be films which will only be dealing with a perfect love story or a romance between same genders. So yeah, this was just an what do you say, an induction to the Indian audience about
Right.
homosexuality.
For me, what is also bewildering to hear from someone as young as yourself and being A-list leading man in Hollywood is that in Bollywood is that you continuously said, "I want our society to get to a point of normalization where a kiss between
Mhm.
two men is not the topic." Where does
Yeah,
that come from?
exactly.
Explain a bit further, please.
Uh, I've had friends from the LGBTQ community, and I know them personally. I know their struggles, and the biggest weapon for an artist is empathy. If you empathize with a certain section of society, in this case, homosexuals and LGBT community, I think half the battle is won. And it should come from within. It should not be superficial. That you want to do a film just to be different. You should be with the community and understand the sufferings and their struggles and challenges in daily life. So that's what happened. My roommate came out of the closet a couple of years back, and he went to South Africa. And he called me a couple of years back. He's like, I am gay, and I didn't tell you about this because I was too scared living in India. But when homosexuality was decriminalized, he was so happy. He came back to India, and now he's living in Bangalore. It's in southern part of a country, and he's living with his partner. So he's happy, and and his parents are also accepting now. So it comes from personal experiences, people around you who had certain experiences, and you take cues from them and incorporate them into this in the celluloid or in the script. And I think India is going through that transient phase where we are at the cusp of a big change and revolution in terms of acceptance of not just LGBTQ community but also different castes, religions. So it's a very critical phase
It
we are
almost
going
sounds
through.
like the golden period in Indian cinema. Would I be right in saying that?
Absolutely, it's not just the golden period for the actors, but for every artist in India. A lot of people say that the art emanates out of struggle or emotions. I think they are absolutely right, that we are a diverse country and we have our own struggles, and artists are blooming right now. It's also not just the struggles, but also the kind of opportunities people are getting. The artists are getting are diverse, are multiple, and this is the best era to be an artist in India.
So your character in the film almost I loved the way you played it because your character does not have an ounce of anger, pain, or confusion related to his sexuality. Right? It's almost like there's no struggle. There's not a single hint of victimhood. There is power in your character. He celebrates himself for being gay, and it is your character that encourages your co-star Jitendra Kumar's character to celebrate the love. What was your thinking behind playing it in such an unapologetic way?
In my previous films, I have played a victim, but this time around, I did not want to play a victim. I wanted to be uh, uh, confident in my own skin about my sexuality. I wanted to be the doer, somebody who ignites the fire. Uh, I have played victims in previous films, be it Shumangal Sabdhan, the prequel of this one, where I was suffering from premature, from erectile dysfunction, and in Dam Laga Ke Aisha, there's another film of mine where it was based on body
Right,
shaming. I was a victim again, in a way. This time around, I did not want to be a
right,
victim. I was like, I want to be somebody who's an instigator, and who's comfortable in his own skin about his sexuality, and who celebrates, as you said, who celebrates
right.
gayhood and his sexuality. So it was a conscious decision. The director had given me a choice of picking a character. So I picked up Karthik's character, which was more flamboyant. It evens out both the characters, because the other character played by Jitendra was very subtle, very mellowed, and Karthik is the one who's flamboyant, who's a little over the top. And I wanted to play something like that because I've never done that in the past.
Right. But I wouldn't even call your character over the top. It was almost like you and the director and your co-star had forgone all caricatures, all stereotypical, laugh methods, and instead focused on these two men being human beings, being fully three-dimensional, five-dimensional human beings.
Absolutely. I think we have each and every kind of character in the film. The subtle one, the other leading guy, Jitendra. It was me who was the flamboyant. The parents were homophobes. Hence, and there were other characters also in the film. Like it's like a multiple cast. It's not just our story; it's the story of the family and the entire society, which is changing. That's why it's such a wonderful, entertaining
Right,
film.
right, right. I think I also remember there have been certain movies in India where extremists, I would call them religious extremists or political extremists, have protested against release of certain films. Like there was a film that about a princess, and where the leading actress got threats about being beheaded. Why did your film not face any such protests?
Surprisingly, no. We didn't face any protests, but of course, there were naysayers on social media that this is against our culture, against the conventions of a religion or whatever. So there were these people who were like stereotypical, or maybe who were like typical homophobes, who were not accepting towards the film. But apart from that, there were no protests. It was quite a smooth sail with the
Yeah,
release of the
that
film.
is again more power to you. I think the way you guys packaged the entire story was almost amenable, almost pleasing to audiences to a certain extent. Of course, not to everyone, but to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yes, especially the multiplex audience. India is a young country. The average age of a nation is around 29. So they are the ones who are very excited about this film. So I'm glad we are a young country, and there are a lot of youth who are accepting, who are progressive, and they are looking forward to films which has something to say.
and this film is definitely something which was breaking a
Right.
barrier.
Okay. Now, the other
Yeah.
thing I want to talk about is your son, right? Your spouse, your wife Tahira, wrote on her Twitter,
Yeah.
and it says, I quote, "With the upcoming film, the dad, being Ayushmann, is doing, I wanted to be forthcoming with my 8-year-old son. I asked him if he knows what homosexuality means or being gay means. He knew it. I asked him if he was okay with it. He replied, what's there not to be okay about?" And then Tahira signed off as teary-eyed
Yeah.
and proud. How do you feel about your son's response? And how did you raise him to be this bona fide, compassionate, extremely loving human being?
Uh, it also comes with the kind of people you're surrounded with. He's just 8, but they are friends from the community who come to my place and party, and he also meets them and interacts with them. So he knows these people, and he thinks it's just natural to be a certain kind also. So he's not averse to anything. He's conditioned like that now, that he's accepting. He's meeting people of all kinds, and he treats them
Right.
as normal, unlike other kids who are from conservative society. So we are giving him a very wholesome
Right, right.
upbringing.
And great job on you and your spouse for being such great parents. How do
Thank
you
you,
feel about the
thank you.
fact that our president, Donald Trump, commented on a tweet about your film saying great? How do you respond?
It was quite a surprise because this is the first time a personality of that ilk has commented on a Hindi film, or an Indian film. But at the same time, I would aspire that he should do something about the LGBT community in America and
Right.
world over.
Right, right. See, for me, love
Yeah.
is love, right? I celebrate love stories of all kinds, especially being the CEO and editor in chief of Hollywood Insider. It's very important for me to make sure that all
Yeah.
communities, however big or small, are seen and heard, which is exactly what you're doing with your movies, right? I celebrate love stories of all kinds, as long as it is consensual and faithful,
Yeah.
right? Most recently,
Yeah.
I had to tell people, in the way I explained it was, just because you don't understand something does not make it wrong. I might not understand Japanese or Greek or one
Yeah.
of the Indian languages, does not make those languages wrong or bad. It
Yeah.
just means that I don't understand them. And LGBTQ and gay, lesbian love stories are equally as right and good as straight. You know, what is your Ayushman? Ayushman, what is your
Exactly.
message to gay, lesbian, LGBTQ people that have not been accepted by their parents?
Ah, my message would be that try to explain it to them and show them literature, films, art. I think art is the one which has the responsibility of bringing about a big social change. It has the power of just converting you. So they should read, like I read this uh, book called Lie With Me by Philip Besson. It's a story of two boys in love. And I know there are a lot of naysayers. Yeah,
Ayushman, can you repeat the
yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
sentence?
There
I
are a
didn't
lot
hear the
of
last
conservative
sentence.
parents who don't accept their kids, but I think love, they have to live the life they want to live. If they have to leave their house, they have to, and they have the right to live the life they the acceptance will be there if
Right,
parents really love them for who they are. So
right,
I think it has to eventually, it has, there's no other
right.
option.
What is your message to those parents who have disowned their children because they are gay or lesbian or LGBTQ?
uh it's the same, I guess, that they need to be one with their own kids. It's their own baby, and whatever he aspires to be and whoever he loves, it's his being. and we should celebrate that, and nothing less and nothing more.
Right. Good.
Accept him or her the way he or she is.
Good. Good, good, good. Now, Ayushmann, we are going to move on to your larger career. Okay. Now that we've talked about this really important movie, I truly believe that everyone should go and watch. Can you pronounce the full name of your movie?
Shubh Mangal Zyada Sabdhan. Shubh Mangal
Okay,
Zyada Sabdhan.
perfect. So I really hope everyone watches it. Now we are going to move on to your larger career as a whole.
Yeah.
The greater the actor, right? And I truly consider you a great, not just of Indian cinema, but cinema as a whole, right? The
Thank
greater
you
the
so much.
actor, the more critical they are of their own work. Have you ever
Yeah.
looked at your past roles and work and thought, I could have done that differently?
I think with Vicky Donor for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your first film. You are raw. You're rough on the edges, and I don't like watching myself on the screen because I get overcritical. I just watch my film once in the edit or once with the cast and crew. I don't go out and watch my film in the cinemas with the people. It's too overwhelming for me because that makes you fall in love with yourself because you're watching the film with the whole uh, audience, with the masses. It's too much for me. I think I practice a certain touch of detachment in my life that I need to detach myself with my own work and move on to the next project and life. Otherwise, I'll be so obsessing about myself. And also, I think I'm too self-critical at the same time.
Right. And most great actors tend to be, right? And I think you also are in good company because there are quite a number of Hollywood actors that have never seen their own films.
Oh, really?
And when I have asked them why, they have said, I just find it too overwhelming.
It
I am
is.
terrified of seeing myself on screen.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
has acting turned out everything that you wanted it to be?
You know, I'm a realist, and life has given me much more than I'd expected. And I'm a very practical person. I always believe that nothing's going to last forever. I just give my best to whatever I do. It has turned out pretty well, I guess. I've been playing my innings well. I can boast of a great filmography in these 7 years. So all's going well. I hope I get great scripts in future as well.
The when you talk about nothing lasts forever, right? So hearing your conversation, I'm sure there has been one moment in your life which changed your life for the better. What would that moment be?
It was my first film. It was my first one for sure, because it was a game changer for me. And also, it was coming back after my failures was the biggest learning. Immediately after my first film, I delivered three back-to-back unsuccessful films, and that was the biggest learning curve for me. I always believe that your success is a very lousy teacher. Your failure is your true friend and philosopher and guide. And I've learned a lot from my failures. So turning point would be my my comeback after,
You come back.
yes, after Hawaii Zada, which was my biggest flop. It was
Right.
Dum Laga Ke Haisha was my comeback film.
Right. And then what I love about the quote you just said, like, success is a lousy teacher, but failure is your greatest friend.
Yeah,
I love that,
thank you.
that you see it in that way.
Absolutely.
Um, you know, you also have said that you will be over the day you stop taking risks.
Yeah.
Why so?
Because I've built my entire career by taking risks. I always believed in novelty. And with novelty, you will have a lot of risks because it is the untreaded territory. It is not tried and tested. It is something you are doing which is happening for the first time. So that's a big risk. So,
Right.
so I thrive on novelty. I will always do films which are like the first attempt in Hindi cinema, in Indian cinema. The subject should be fresh. The content has to be thought-provoking. I think it's not just entertainment, it is entertainment coupled with some kind of value addition. So it will always have that risk of, how the commercial audience will take it.
Right. Any film that you have, like watching you as an actor, right? You have this career graph that is almost desirable and envious at the same time for most actors. What was that age? And now you are this. You've won multiple awards, including the most prestigious award in India for Best Actor, known as the National Award. Right?
Yeah.
What was that age, and what was that one moment you realized you wanted to be an actor?
It was as young as 5.
5 years old.
Yes, I was 5 and I saw this big screen and I went mad. And I wanted to be an actor since that age. It was difficult to,
Right.
just acknowledge that in front of my parents and family and friends, because coming from like a middle class, conservative background, uh, they want you to be like a doctor or an engineer or something which is more conventional. And
Right.
my parents, my father always felt that uh, art is not, it doesn't give you food for stomach, it only gives you food for soul.
Right.
So so I tried to hone my skills. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I had taken sciences. Though I had cleared one college, medical college, but I wanted to be an actor. So I was like, I should take arts in college. And my father was like, only if you become a topper in your college and give full attendance in your college, I'll allow you to do theater. So he made that perfect balance. I made that deal with my father that I will attend college, give full attendance, and score good marks, good grades. Only then I'll be allowed to do theater. I did that for 3 years. So I think it worked for me.
Is it also true that your father kicked you out of the house and said, "Go be an actor now.
Yeah, that
Don't waste
happened.
any more time"?
Yes.
Tell us the story behind it.
Yes. He believed that there was no wrong time to do the right thing. And I always, because of that notion of his, because of that thought, I always got the first mover advantage over my contemporaries. I was the first one to get out of college and was the youngest radio presenter in New Delhi. I was hardly 22 that time, 21 or 22, when I became the number one jock in the capital city. And after that, I went to Mumbai. I was 24 when I became a VJ on MTV India. And I think the doors were getting opened for me. The opportunities were right there because I was just at the right place at the right time. So it comes with assertiveness, uh, with uh, with the push from you get from your parents. Like, he was very pushy. I was very laid back as a person. I got my ambition from my father.
Very cool. For me, I think what's so surprising about your career is that I don't think there are many, or maybe not none, Hollywood movie actors who started their journey from a reality TV show. I know you were a part of the show known as Roadies in India.
Yeah, yeah.
So was there any was there any thing that made you feel like, am I good enough since I'm a reality TV person that is starting out in this? Did you receive any backlash?
Not really. Like, I was a reality show contestant when I was in college. So after that,
Ah,
uh, after becoming a winner of a reality show, I went back to university, studied for 2 years, did radio for 2 years. Then after that, that makes 4 years, and then I did television as a VJ with MTV India. Roadies used to come on MTV India, by the way. So
right.
it was a natural progression to be a VJ. So I became a VJ for 4 years. So that I worked for 8 years before becoming an actor. So it was a
Right.
gradual transition, not an immediate shift from a reality show contestant to an actor. I worked for good 8 years in between. So I earned it.
Right. Good. what I again, Ayushmann, you cannot imagine how refreshing I find you as a person. Obviously, I have massive respect for you as an actor, but even as a person, and the way you have answered your questions, I know I could talk to you forever.
Thank
Just
you.
because of the fact of what we at Hollywood Insider believe in, the fact that we are against gossip and scandal, and we care about substance and meaningful entertainment. If I could summarize Hollywood Insider's value sets with an actor, it would be Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, and yourself
Oh my God.
as a person. And I truly mean that. It's almost like if I caught you tomorrow at a party, you would say the exact same things. There's nothing recited about your responses.
Thank you so much, Britain. You made my day. I don't know what to say. It's too
And
overwhelming for
we
me.
and I hope this continues because I still have more questions for you. I need to get to know you
Yeah.
better. And okay, now let's move on to you are a earlier you said, you take I personally think my personal superpower is empathy. And I loved it when you used because I've been a humanitarian since I was 19, and I loved the fact that you used the word you said earlier. You said to me, empathy can be used as a weapon, right? To
Yeah.
break cultural norms and to play certain characters. Now, you have broken so many stereotypical tropes of masculinity, toxic masculinity through your movies.
Yeah.
What other tropes of masculinity would you like to break for a toxic masculine man or a toxic Indian masculine man?
We have a long way to go, though we are making films which are breaking a lot of cultural norms and toxic masculinity is being questioned. Um, Maybe again, it could be like a step two, like a second level of LGBTQ, probably dealing with a transgender, maybe in a film. Though I've played a gay man in Shumangal Zada Sabdhan, I have modulated my voice and sounded like a female in Dream Girl. But playing a transgender will be something else. And we need acceptance for the third gender. In my university, it's Punjab University in Chandigarh, I remember in 2014 they were against the gay pride parade. The university chancellor was against, the dean was against the gay pride parade. But here in 2020 they have a separate toilets for transgenders. I think that's a good move in like 6 years. So
Right.
India is going through that transition, as I said. So I think we have to normalize that as well. And yeah, I've been with every film of mine, I'm trying to do that, being as real as possible, not being fantastical. And that's the whole aspiration of a common man in India. Because of course they look up to the superstars who are very masculine. At the same time, it's a great confidence builder for somebody who's normal, who's a layman with his own imperfections and trying to achieve something in life. It's a great confidence builder if you are putting that layman on a pedestal and making him a hero uh, in Indian cinema.
Right. Um, you're not only a part of Indian cinema, but you've also been a fan for a long time. So you know the ins and outs of Bollywood very, very well.
Yeah, yeah.
Next question to you would be, if you could change one thing about Bollywood, what would that be?
Hello.
If you could change one thing about Bollywood, what would that be?
Ah, I think it is already happening. The change is right here in front of us.
Right. And
Um,
you are a huge part in that change.
I don't want to say that, but I always try to do that.
Right.
That it should not be star driven. It should always be content driven. I always believe that the script writers are underpaid and they are underrated in India. The main germ comes from the script, from the basic idea. And I remember with my first film, I'd said that superscripts make you a superstar. Though in my case, that has happened. Like I have chosen great scripts. I've worked with great writers. Um, but they are actors, they are superstars who are beyond scripts. Like, even if they do an average film, the film will be a blockbuster. So, but in my case, I think the change is happening right now. We need to acknowledge the script writers and go with the content. The content is the real superstar, not the actor.
And I love the fact that you've said that, because that's also a long running debate in Hollywood, right? In Hollywood, too, writers seem to be underpaid, whereas writers are truly the stars of a script. If there's
Absolutely.
no script, there is no film.
Yeah, yeah, true.
And countless movies have suffered because of a poor script. Obviously, not your films, because your films, like you correctly said, your scripts happen to be sharing the superstar platform with you. And I am truly impressed by that. What is, around the world, people know of Bollywood or about Bollywood, right? Foreign films. I personally love foreign films. I love Spanish cinema. I love Italian cinema. I have seen several Bollywood films, including yours. So to me, the 1 inch barrier of subtitles was conquered when I was much younger. Now, what is one misconception about Bollywood for people in foreign countries that you would like to change?
That Bollywood films they're not only about song and dance. They're much deeper, because normally our regional films, they don't reach out at international level. Like, they normally consume Hindi films, but there are other films in other languages in India. Like, we have more than 25 languages in our country. And especially down south, the Malayalam cinema. Malayalam is a language in South India. They churn out some great content. But recently I watched this Tamil film called Super Deluxe. You should watch that film.
Okay,
I
Ayushmann,
think
let me just stop you there. I have.
you have.
It was a spiritual experience for me, but I'm going to listen to you first, because I really, really want to hear your point, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. So go ahead.
I think that should have been the official entry for
I
Oscars.
agree. Now, please carry on. Oh my God, this is like a profound name. I'm so happy you said that name. All right, carry on. What did you think of that film? Because I know it's not a Bollywood film. It's a regional, smaller industry within
Yes.
India. So go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the Hindi is the most what do you call,
Popular.
the maximum number of people in India, they talk in Hindi.
Right.
But we need to acknowledge regional cinema, which is great. Like, Super Deluxe is a prime example. I think it's a cult film, and I don't even want to go for a remake, because it should be left as is. And Super Deluxe, I think it should represent India in any platform. And it was, like you said, it was a great spiritual experience watching that film. I got goosebumps in the end.
Right.
When I saw that film, the way it incorporated the alien and all the stories together, it was unbelievable. Like, while I'm talking right now, I'm getting gooseflesh. It's one of the best films I've ever seen.
Right. Here's my thought on that film. So to me, Netflix, I completely agree with streaming services like Netflix for one reason, mainly, which is that it has introduced me to a world of cinema and TV that I would not have had access to or known about. Super Deluxe being one of them. Super Deluxe was a notification on my Netflix screen. And when I saw the poster, I was quite frightened, because it's the actor who is a transvestite, and I was not sure if I wanted to watch it when I was back home from shooting, from films, from the Hollywood Insiders offices. And I thought, all right, I'll put it in the background. I'll try to read the subtitles and I'll work while watching it. Within 5 minutes, I realized I had to put my computer away, give it my attention. But most in the office, benevolent or a kind boss. But during Super Deluxe and after watching it, I out a mass company email telling everyone at Hollywood Insider and my family and friends that they need to watch Super Deluxe.
Yeah,
it was a magical experience.
I'm so proud of the film now. Great.
It was a good experience.
Sure.
I even asked our PR people what was India's official entry to the Oscars, and it was not Super Deluxe. And I thought that was a grave error, because Super Deluxe was in the level of Parasite.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. I believe that.
I need you to call the director of that film and work with him, because his his film was all about content. Was all about the script superstar, and
Yeah.
you have the talents that match his script, his taste, his style. So you should make that happen. Work together.
Absolutely. I would love to work with him. Yes.
I
Absolutely. That's part of my bucket list. In fact,
right.
you said it. You read my mind.
Please make that happen, because I had some friends come over from Utah and they were previously Mormons. I don't know if you know what Mormons are, but Mormons are a fraction, certain, they are Christians, and they have their own, like, they're Mormon Christians. So, right.
Yeah, Mormon
Okay.
Christians,
So,
of course.
and I invited them over to my place, and I told them, listen, I would like you to watch this. And the first thing they said was, it seems like a spiritual experience watching this film. You know, a very M. Night Shyamalan vibes, very, very well done. There was not, I've seen that film 5 times. 5 times. You know,
Wow.
That's how proud I was. And that little boy, and I'm so sorry, I'm talking about this film for too long. I'll move on.
No, it's a fan movie for me as well.
That little boy was just, I forgot his name, but I think I called... Right.
Rasakuti.
Oh my God. It was like a poem. That name by itself is a poem. You know, his acceptance of his father in the end, like, we love you. Why do you care about, I was going to cry. Okay, let's move.
Even I cried in the moment that be whatever you want to be. You just be here.
And I felt that exact same moment. I cried in one of your movies. I didn't really cry in the recent movie, but I cried in one of your movies.
Yeah.
The name of the movie being, I might butcher the name. It is where your aged mother, who is in her 60s, falls pregnant.
Badayo.
Right, that one.
Badayo,
and she falls pregnant.
Yeah.
And your reaction as a 25-year-old man dealing with your aged mother's pregnancy. And the way I cried buckets in that movie. I did not know I cared so much about aged pregnancy. It was not about that. It was just about how the story was carried out. Now, tell us about that movie, because I really want people to watch that movie as well.
Yeah, Badhai Ho is one film which really, I don't know, I go with the script more than my character. Again, it was the parents who were at the forefront in that film. I was a character in that film. But I was in love with the script and the entire depiction and the whole family dynamics. So same as Shumangal Za Savdhan, where parents were at the forefront.
Right.
So it's not a regular choice for any superstar in India that you'll put the character artist at the forefront. But I always keep the script at the forefront. I think that's the hero for me. The real hero is the script more than anything else. And
your embarrassment with your mother's pregnancy was so clearly documented in the film, and then your final acceptance of it. And when you cried looking at your baby sister, I cried along with you.
Oh my God.
And it's a compliment to the story and you as a whole.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, Priyanka Chopra has done remarkably well in Hollywood, right? I'm personally a huge fan of that lady, of that actress, of that being, as I would like to call her, right? She has transcended borders, genders, languages, etc., etc. She has herself broken stereotypes, and her interviews are study in eloquence, bravado, and wisdom. She truly does not care what people think and continues paving her own path. In one word, to me, she is a hero. She is unapologetic. She has been an excellent ambassador for India and Indian cinema. How do her peers, which is you, and the people in India perceive Priyanka and her stratospheric success in Hollywood?
For me, Priyanka is a legend. She is an army officer's kid, and she has, as you said, transited borders, and she is the first one from India to have that acclaim in the West. And I recently met her during Jonas Brothers' concert in Bahamas. I was there with my family, and we were together for the New Year's. She's still the simple girl.
Right.
She's very simple, very, very humble at heart, and she's very rooted at the same time. And she's a realist. She knows what she wants from life. And she's ambitious, yet she's humble, which is a great combination. And she's a perfect ambassador, Indian ambassador,
right.
I think.
And to me, I should correct her name. I wrongly called her Priyanka Chopra, whereas now she is Priyanka Chopra Jonas. When I
Yeah.
watch her interviews wide-eyed, because I'm a cinema buff, right? I'm a movie buff. I love movies. I eat, sleep, and drink movies. 12 when I wrote my first script, so I understand you, understand your character. Understand Priyanka Chopra, right? So to me, people like you and Priyanka are spiritual experiences. The way you guys have been made, and the way you guys work. I also know that the press is not always friends to people like yourself or Priyanka, right? Mass parts of the press are out to attack celebrities. Not at Hollywood Insider. We are fully about collaboration and being there for and being there with everyone. Instead of tearing people down, we believe in building people up. What about press? What is the one question you hate getting
Great.
from press? Ayushmann, did you hear me?
I can hear
Okay,
you.
good.
Yes,
All
I'm
right, good.
thinking.
This one question you hate about the press.
I don't know. The press has been really kind
Oh,
to
wow.
me. The kind of cinema I've been doing, they've been really collaborative in India
Oh,
as well.
that's new.
So I get less trolls, even on social media. So I'm blessed like that. I think it's a lovely relationship I share with the press. So I'm their child, I think, and I love them because they've been really
You are
supportive.
probably the first person to say that the press has been nothing but supportive.
Yeah, because I don't. Okay,
No,
what do I
that's good.
say?
No, that
You
again,
know,
I'm not looking for a scoop. I was looking. I'm just glad you gave me that, because even at Hollywood, because when I got around to changing Hollywood Insider for the better, it was to build someone or something up and not tear them down. And go ahead.
no, I want to say something more. Is this that when a lot of people, a lot of celebs, they complain that they don't get the
Right.
space, that they don't get the space. They are hounded by the paps. But I remember when somebody took my autograph for the first time, I could not
Oh,
sleep the
wow.
entire night. And when somebody took a selfie with me for the first time, I was just full of
Right.
gratitude that, I have arrived. This is it. And even now, I try to give as many selfies, pictures, autographs as I could. Because I think this life is full of gratitude. I don't know, why do you have to just be in the complaint mode that, I can't walk on the streets or cannot have street food. It's okay. I think it's a good battle.
Right. And that's probably the secret to your success
Yeah.
as well. Because you don't, instead of complaining about it, you show appreciation, is how I call it. Now,
Yeah.
Ayushmann, I need to know more about you, right? I know that there is going to be a future for you in Hollywood, and I really, really hope so. And anything that we at Hollywood Insider can do to support that, you can always contact me directly. Obviously, I'll give you
Okay.
my information after this call. Not at the moment. So, if you could act in one past released Hollywood film, what would that be, and in which role? Did you have in a
And
past in an already released Hollywood film? What would that role be, and in what film? A Hollywood film that has already. What I'm trying to do right now
yes.
is I'm hoping that there are casting
Yeah.
directors in Hollywood listening to this, and I'm hoping that they can hear what you would be happy to go for. Do you see what I'm trying to do here?
Okay. Uh, Let me think.
Take your time.
It's a tough one. I'm a very, very Indian person. I don't even I watch Indian films. I read a lot about India. I know a lot about my country. That's why I'm very rooted, and I know about the issues that my country faces, and love being in those films. So I really don't know whether I have Hollywood aspirations or not to begin with. You know, um, uh,
That was going to be my next question. Any aspirations for Hollywood? And I was not expecting that answer. So,
I think okay. Recently, I saw
okay,
Bohemian Rhapsody, and since uh, Freddie was
right.
from
He's
India,
Indian, right?
I love
Right,
that film. Yeah, I love
right,
that film, and because I'm also a
right.
musician, So maybe that one recently that I can only think about a recent release right
Right.
now.
That's perfectly fine. And I know you're a singer as well. You've actually received
Yeah,
an award for being a
yeah,
singer. Am I correct?
yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
specific Hollywood director that you would like to work with? A bucket
Mm,
list. I know you don't have, I know, because, there are Hollywood, because I truly would like to see you in cinema from all over the world, even though you're so rooted in India. So if there is one specific Hollywood director, who would it be?
the guy who made
Whiplash.
Whiplash. He's yeah, yeah. Uh, I forgot his name. I'm
That's
really
perfectly
sorry.
fine. Whiplash is the movie about the musicians.
Yes,
And you're
yes,
talking about
yes.
the
I think
superstar director who also directed First Man and La La Land,
and
Damien
La La
Chazelle.
Land. Yes, yes. Uh, and he's very
He's
young. He's too young to make such
right,
amazing
right,
films. I think I'm so impressed. I'm a big fanboy though,
right.
and I think that's
And
the guy.
he also wrote
He's amazing.
Whiplash.
Yes, I know that.
Right.
Yes,
His scripts tend to be his superstars as well. I could sit here talking to you about La La Land and First Man and Whiplash all day long, but I'm not going
yeah,
to do that.
and
Right.
Whiplash.
A male Hollywood co-star that you would love to work with,
A male Hollywood co-star.
that you would like to work with.
Mm,
And my intention is not to put you on the spot.
yeah, of course not. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I think his body of work is tremendous, and yeah, maybe him. But I don't know how we get paired together. I don't know what kind of
We will
characterization
let
it'll
the
be.
universe, which has been
It's
taking care of your career so far, take
yeah,
action on that too. What about
yeah.
a female
Hmm.
Hollywood co-star?
I think you said it. Meryl
Right.
Streep is a legend. She's a living legend, and I think the entire world reveres her. She's respect worthy and she's brilliant. And I don't know. It's too big for me to talk about. My wish list like that. I don't know. I don't even know whether I have Hollywood aspirations or not. I'm pretty happy doing my rooted stories
Right.
out of India, and
And
seriously,
that's perfectly fine. But Ayushman, you clearly in 7 years, what you've achieved, the word big should not exist in your
hmm,
vocabulary. I don't think there is a challenge big enough for you. Right. So just keep it all open. Now,
thank you.
I personally learn a lot from my colleagues. I've learned a lot from the colleagues that I've worked with. Which is one colleague that you have learned the most from?
Uh, I have two contemporaries. One is Ranveer Singh and Ranbir Kapoor. I think both are brilliant in their own ways. Ranveer Singh boasts of uh, versatile characters in his filmography, and Ranbir Kapoor is all heart. He's all heart. I loved him in Barfi, and a lot of other films. So these are the two contemporaries I'm really fond of, and I think
Right.
I can learn from them a
Um,
lot.
for me, I believe in so I know how what it's like in India, right? In regards to audition. Whereas
Mm,
In
mhm,
Hollywood, auditions are huge. Most people audition. I know
mm,
Priyanka
mm.
has not really auditioned because I've heard her
Yeah.
say before that she's never, because she became Miss
Mm.
World and then movie producers were banging down her door. Do you have any audition
Mm.
stories?
I'll tell you one thing that recently got a national award for a film called Andhadhun.
It's on
Have you
Netflix.
seen
I
that
have not
film?
watched it yet, but I will watch it. It's about the
It,
blind pianist,
yes, yeah, it's
right?
yes, yes. Since I was known for slice of life films, the director Sriram Raghavan, he's a veteran director and quite a legend in India. He never thought about me for that character, so I was the one who contacted him and asked him for an audition, and I was like, take a screen test. And it's not a norm in India that the established actors, they don't give a screen test. But I was the one who suggested him that why don't you take a screen test? So it was worth it. So and he took my screen test, though he never believes that was screen test. He thought it was just a session with the director and the actor. But that was my latest audition,
And
which was like 3 years back. And of course, initially I have given auditions. Yes, there were a lot of rejections as well. But for my first film, there was hardly any audition because the director wanted me in the film because he was pretty sure about the fact that he wanted that guy on MTV. So it was already there. Like I was pretty big on television in India that time. But my latest audition is for Andhadhun,
right,
which
and
fetched
I
me a
find it
national
quite
award.
humbling that after you'd already built this body of work, you still request that the director audition you.
Yeah, if I love somebody's work, I'm ready to give an
Right.
audition or a screen test.
Do you
Why
have
not?
any
Yeah.
plans to direct?
Would love to in future, but as of now, I'm pretty happy being an actor
Right.
and a part-time
Right.
singer.
I mean, we know how Bollywood describes you, right, as content Khurrana. We know how your fans describe you. Now you know how Hollywood Insider and myself as diverse Khurrana. How do you describe yourself?
I missed the
We
last
know how
question.
Bollywood
Hello?
describes you as. Can you hear me,
Hello?
Ayushmann? All right, perfect. We know how
Yeah.
Bollywood describes
Yeah.
you as content Khurrana. We know how your fans describe you. You have heard how Hollywood Insider and myself describe you as diverse Khurrana. How do you describe yourself?
Yeah. It's too pompous to describe yourself. I don't know. I think I'm rooted. I'm just it's my simplicity, I think. I'm a simple superstar.
That's going to be your
I
poster.
don't know what to say.
A simple
It's an
superstar.
alliteration.
I love that.
It's an alliteration.
Bro, I love that. You know
Yeah.
what?
It's an
No,
it's
not
an
at all.
oxymoron and
Actually,
also an
there's
alliteration.
quite a few recent, quite some great superstars have actually been really simple. For instance, Tom Hanks. Again, I have to bring his name. He is the reason I keep
Yeah.
saying his name to liken him to you is because Tom Hanks has one thing going for him, and I think that is the reason for his success, and that is accessibility, which you have in equal manner. You are so accessible as a person and as a character and as a superstar that there are audiences, young men sitting out there on the cinema seats thinking, I could be that guy. He's speaking to me. And I think it's the accessibility that you bring. And so often during this interview, do you know what word you've used the most? Do you know? Rooted.
No.
You keep using the word rooted. And I forget who the person who I forget where this quote comes from, but I remember very, very well that there's a quote that says, you can only go as high as deep your roots tend to be. And I think your roots are so
Absolutely.
deep,
You're
and
right.
your foundation, and that's probably why you and have reached as far stratospheric success. The reason I ask these questions is because I really, really want to understand you. Again, being a cinema buff, a movie buff, and being not just a editor-in-chief or CEO of Hollywood Insider, but also having written my own scripts and worked on my own film projects, I love talking to actors who are actors first and superstars second. And that's you. Right, you understand this craft. Every person has a moment in their life, right? I have that when they truly think that they have lost. They simply cannot carry on, right? And then there are the fortunate where we get a wake-up call that inspires us or gives us faith to carry on. What was your wake-up call?
I think it was this introduction to this practice
From
was my
Taira.
wake-up call. I remember from Taira, when my films are not doing well, I was the one who was laid back, who had no clarity in his head. But the moment I started chanting this, it had such a magical effect that mind was clear. I knew what I wanted, and at the same time, it gave me tremendous wisdom. I was so confused in life, and it just transformed me into a better person and
Right.
wiser
Right.
person more than anything else. So it happened 3 years back, and since then,
Right.
my film started doing well. It was a meteoric rise for me, professionally and personally, when I got introduced to
And
this
I'm
practice.
so happy for you that happened. I'm all about learning from other people. I learned from my little nephew and niece. I have a
Wow.
niece. Her name's Isabella. Right. I used to learn how to live my life from
Okay.
Isabella when she was 5 years old.
Hmm.
So I don't think there is an age bracket of how old a young a person that teaches you can be, right? And at that time, I had gone through a lot, as 20 at the time, and she was 5. And when my film got released, she was the first person to watch it and say, there was a crowd of us watching it back in England. I'm from England.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
from the entire crowd of people watching it, she was the first person to look at me and say, well done.
Wow. So cute.
She was five
That's
years old.
amazing.
Right. And I was completely flabbergasted. Now, in the remaining time, Ayushman, I have a questionnaire, which is going to be very fast answers
Yeah.
that I would like to try with you.
I'm bad with
This
fast answers.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But what I mean by fast answers are 1 or 2 worded or one sentence answers.
Okay.
Okay. This questionnaire, I attribute to Marcel Proust, the novelist,
Hmm.
and I've also been personally inspired by Bernard Pivot, the French TV
Okay.
host, from his
Hmm.
show Bouillon de Culture.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
sure I have completely hacked that pronunciation, and also my idol James Lipton and his TV show Inside the Actors Studio. There are
Hmm.
certain questions that have been inspired by them. There are also certain questions that are my own. So it's a mixture. It's a mixture of these questions. Several
Okay.
questions come from my own heart.
Hmm.
Number one, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word.
Right.
You said it, rooted.
You have to credit me the next time you say it. Right. What is your least favorite word?
Uh, I don't hate any word. I don't know. It can't be a least favorite word.
Okay.
No.
Favorite
Yeah.
drink?
Favorite? Hello?
Favorite drink?
Hello?
Hi, Ayushman, can you hear?
Yeah, yeah.
Favorite drink?
Favorite drink. Um, there's a thing called buttermilk in India. It's called chas.
Okay.
In India, it's called chas, but it's a buttermilk, and it's very yummy.
Okay. Your happiest moment?
When I got my first film poster on the streets of Mumbai, maybe. Yeah,
For Vicky Dona.
yeah, for Vicky Donna.
What was your saddest moment?
Saddest moment. When I could not enjoy the success of Vicky Donna because we were facing a personal crisis, me and my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
What turns you on?
I think uh, it could be the I think depth in art.
Okay. What turns you off?
Yeah. Lack of simplicity.
An audition you would like.
Redo. Uh, Actually, none.
Who would you like to see on a banknote? On currency, who would you like to see on currency?
On Indian currency.
Right.
I think it's perfect. Mahatma Gandhi is great.
If you could change one thing about your past, what would that be?
Mm, Actually, nothing. I think I have become what I have become because of my past. I know I was a late bloomer, but it helped me overall. I think it happened for good.
Okay. What makes you cry?
Great talent.
Who is your idol?
Kishore Kumar, he's a legend from the past in Indian cinema. He was an actor and a singer,
Your greatest
and also a
mistake?
director and a writer. Yeah, very versatile.
Like yourself. Your greatest mistake,
Greatest mistake.
right?
I thought I was invincible after my first film.
Profound answer. The title of
Yeah.
your biography, the title of the book on your life, what would that be?
I've already written a book called Cracking the Code.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it published?
it is published, yes.
Okay. What is your message to people that said you would not be able to make it in Bollywood?
My message would be don't question anybody's human potential.
A fear that you had that you now realize was wrong.
The fear of taking risks.
Who would play you in your biopic?
Out of my contemporaries.
You answer. Who would it be?
I don't know out of my
It
contemporaries
can no,
whether they would like to.
not just your contemporaries. Anybody, any actor from any generation, who would be the person that would be perfect for your biopic?
I think my real brother, Apar Shakti.
Okay.
He's also an actor.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite childhood memory would be watching Shah Rukh Khan films. I'm a huge Shah Rukh Khan fan.
He was
So
on David Letterman
he's
recently.
yes. Watching all his films. I remember going alone and watching his films, standing uh, in the theater because there was no place to sit.
Right.
That only happens in India. Some theaters sell more tickets more than the seats. So I watched his film Dil To Pagal Hai, standing throughout for 2.5 hours.
Wow. It's almost like your
Yeah,
temple.
yeah,
Your
exactly.
favorite sound or noise?
The sound of the piano or the sitar. The sound of the sitar is my favorite sound, and flute, Indian flute.
The sound and noise you hate.
I think the sound of the aircraft.
So your message to someone who wants to have a career like yours?
Take care of the education as well, along with your craft.
What would you tell your 15-year-old self?
I was very nervous. You can make it. You can still do it.
If you were not an actor, what would you be?
So many professions like journalist, or maybe I've been a radio presenter. It's an invalid question. So I've been a radio presenter, a television host. So I had a lot of options. I could have been a dentist as well.
Right. What quality do you most admire in a person?
I think simplicity.
How would you like to,
Simplicity along with talent.
right? How would you like the world to remember you?
How would you like the world to be?
To remember
I
you.
didn't get just a great guy. I don't know whether great actor or not. I want to be a good guy. That's it.
What
Well
profession
played.
are you
Yeah.
least interested in?
hmm
What profession are you least interested in?
Chartered accountancy.
Favorite color?
I like all the colors.
What is your present state of mind?
I want coronavirus to end so that we can just venture out
Good,
and go for a drive, maybe. Yeah.
good. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I didn't get the question. Sorry.
If heaven does exist, what
Yeah.
would you like to hear God say when you arrive in heaven?
You're alive.
Great. Ayushmann,
Yeah.
I've had the most fantastic time interviewing you.
Thank you so much. How old are you, Britain?
I am 33.
Hello?
I am 33.
Your voice is breaking. I'm really sorry for this
No
connection.
worries.
Hello?
Did you hear what I said?
No.
You asked me my age, and I said
Yes.
33.
Okay.
I am 33.
Okay.
Why? What
Okay.
was that question? Why?
Just like that. I don't know. Just you are quite profound as a person. So I always believe you'll be 30 plus.
Right.
And if you went your 20s, I would have like got a shocker.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
You need to live life
Right.
to talk like that.
Right. And
So you're
I
there.
have I have had quite the life. And I'm again, thank you for your compliment, Ayushmann. I really hope, I keep hearing about you. Again, I truly mean when I say anything that Hollywood Insider can do to support you or your messaging, please contact us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. And I would love to meet you when I'm in US. I don't know
yes,
when
yes,
I'm
yes,
going to be
yes.
in
I live in
US.
New York. The next time you're here, once you're able to fly again, we're all able to fly again. Please let's arrange
Yeah,
dinner.
that'll be
All
great.
right.
I would love to meet
I will
you.
ask my PR team to send Tanya my email. Keep that,
Yes,
and then we will talk soon. I know we will talk soon.
definitely.
All right.
We will, for
Please
sure.
give your
Okay.
my I didn't want to talk about it during the show, but I know certain things about personal health. So please give your spouse, your wife, Taira, my complete regards as a
I will.
human being. I hope she is just excellent at life and continues on.
Thank
And
you.
your kids, so much love from me and your parents for raising
Thank
such
you.
a great son.
Thank you so much. And give a love to
I
Isabella
will do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayushmann. You take care.
and your family
I will
also.
do.
Thank you, Britain.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
You take care.
Yeah.